Transforming care through genomic medicine, personalized therapeutics, health services and outcomes research, and innovations in healthcare delivery. We're Children's Mercy Kansas City, presenting our audio interview series, Transformational Pediatrics, with host Dr. Michael Smith.
Our topic today is engaging parents in the care of patients with inflammatory bowel disease. My guest is Julie Bass. She's the medical director of the Inflammatory Bowel Disease Program at Children's Mercy, and she's the associate professor of pediatrics at the University of Missouri Kansas City School of Medicine. Dr. Bass, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, tell us about the Inflammatory Bowel Disease Program at Children's Mercy.
Yes, our program is about 600 patients and families with the diagnosis of inflammatory bowel disease. So most common types would be Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. We have a large multidisciplinary team consisting of several physicians and nurse practitioners. We have a dietitian, a social worker, a IBD psychologist, and several nurses and nurse coordinators. So a big group and team of staff dedicated to help these patients and their families with a difficult chronic disease.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. You now, it's my understanding, Dr. Bass, that many years ago, the suggestion came up that you add kind of a unique component to this program, right? And that had to do with parent engagement. Why don't you tell us about that? Yeah,
when I became the director of the program in 2012, I was also asked to lead our work in ImproveCareNow, which is a quality improvement network that has now over 90 hospitals, pediatric centers that help take care of children and adolescents with inflammatory bowel disease. And they encouraged that we ask a parent to join our team and then come along to these conferences that we have every 6 months with the ImproveCareNow network. So in 2012, I asked Jamie Hicks, a parent of one of my patients with inflammatory bowel disease, to join our group and help us with the issues that we needed to focus on to better provide care for our patients and families. So Jamie joined us in 2012, and we're still going strong, working together, and she now leads a group of about 12 parents that they formed a couple years ago, a patient and family advisory council for our inflammatory bowel disease patients. And it's been really exciting to work with them and have their suggestions help guide our work and what we can do to better care for our patients.
Well, so Dr. Bass, let's back up in a little bit and let's talk, like, why did this even come up? I mean, obviously, we know and we appreciate that the more the family is involved, the parents are involved, the better the care is and the outcomes. I mean, I think we see that across the board, even for adults. So we get that part of it, but was there something specific that happened or some specific outcomes that were looked at that made people think, hey, we need to have parents involved at the get-go from this?
I think it's really just the experience that the patients and families can provide that was completely lacking on our healthcare team that's been recognized in the last several years, and just across everything within healthcare, that's huge, and best being able to provide care because, as our healthcare team thought we understood what challenges our families faced and things that they were going through, and we'd often make assumptions about certain aspects of the care that after inviting a parent to be a part of our team, we realized, oh gosh, we've always been thinking this was a major issue when we didn't realize these other challenges existed. So it's really great to have that perspective for things that we're not realizing, the challenges of living with a chronic disease and things with the day-to-day care of interacting with our clinic and communication pieces, and having that parent there to ask questions along the way to understand the process and why we do things a certain way, and ultimately how we could make it better. In an ideal world, of course, we face challenges along the way as well. But working together, we've been able to make some great progress in the things that we can do for our patients.
Well, why Jamie Hicks? What was it about her that made you reach out to her initially?
She stood out to me just because her sense of passion, the questions that she would ask, she's a nurse by background, so of course she has some healthcare knowledge to start with, and then her ability to look beyond just her own individual experience with her son was very apparent as well, kind of for the greater good to move things along. She just really did stand out in that way and really challenged me. I met her when I was in fellowship and training, so he was one of my first patients, actually, her son, Colson, and they were the type of people that just make you want to be a better physician and be able to provide better care and answer their questions and get to the bottom of things. And so that part was pretty easy to me to pick her out as somebody that would be a great part of our team.
Yeah.
Of course, I had no idea at the time how amazing she would be in addition to that. So
you made a good decision.
I got pretty lucky in choosing her because she has done some really amazing teams.
That's
and
awesome.
Now is leading a great group of parents. It's pretty impressive, actually.
So I know that at Children's Mercy, this program has become recognized by different institutions and organizations. But what's been the influence in other hospitals? I mean, are you seeing parent engagement programs in other hospitals and even outside of the gastrointestinal world? I mean, is this program expanding? And if not, what are the plans to help it expand?
Sure. I do think it's still slow to catch on. I mean, even within our network, and we are asked to speak often about our experience and share with other centers, and we do have several individual people come up to us and ask for advice on how do you do it, what do we suggest that they do. So definitely lots of conversations at these meetings going on. And then we have been asked by some other chronic disease networks to share our experience with cystic fibrosis. Jamie actually went to pediatric liver meeting just recently. Last year we went to San Francisco to share our experience with the PCORI Research Network. So I do think it's slowly expanding across different networks, but I do think it's still a little bit of a foreign concept to actually incorporate the families into the work in the way that we thankfully have been able to do here.
Yeah. Well, to tell us a little bit about that. So when we talk about the parent engagement, right, and you mentioned incorporating them into the work that you do, what does that really mean? I mean, walk us through how someone like Jamie Hicks would actually participate.
So Jamie serves as our lead parent for the Patient and Family Advisory Council, and so she attends our meetings usually via phone because she lives 3.5 hours from our center. So every other week, at least twice a month anyway, we have our quality improvement IBD meeting. And at least once a month, actually, Jamie will call in and give updates and just be a part of our discussions about what we're doing at our center to best provide care. And there's the one meeting that's focused completely on QI business that she will share. And she represents the parent group who they individually, the 12 of them, will meet quarterly. And then once a year now, this summer and this past summer, we've gotten together the whole parent group and our whole IBD healthcare team together for our annual lunch meeting for a few hours, just to go over the different projects and ideas for things to do. So as a parent group, they give us feedback on things that they would like us to look at within our system at Children's, and then we also ask them for advice on certain things. You know, we do a newsletter, and we ask for a parent perspective to be a piece of that, and we also ask them to edit what we've put out, you know, and so they've done a variety of things, giving feedback on our educational materials. When they started, their first project was they really wanted a video for newly diagnosed families. They say that's a really stressful time when you're first diagnosed, and so they actually got an outside production company through our media department to put together this wonderful video now that our newly diagnosed families can watch right at diagnosis about Children's Mercy Inflammatory Bowel Disease Program and providing some reassurance. You're in a good place. You're going to get better. You're going to get back to a normal life.
And Dr. Bass, and so that's a great example where, as physicians, we may not have ever even thought about, you know, a nice introductory video to all this, but yet here the parents bring that into the conversation. You get it done, and I'm sure it's paying back dividends.
Yes. And another example the parents said they would like to leave our clinic with a discharge form, organized form that says, here's what we talked about today, here are your meds, here are your next steps, these are the things. And, some of the providers on our team didn't love this idea. So we kind of went back and forth on what this would include and what we would do. It includes health maintenance pieces that I thought prior to this form that I was providing consistent care across the patient population. But now that we have incorporated this discharge form into our practice, that every patient at discharge from our clinic, we go through that about what they need, I do truly think that's changed the way I practice and making sure every patient is up to date on all of the things that they need. Did you get your flu shot? Did, X, Y, and Z? It's a really nice piece that was completely brought on to us as a suggestion from the parent group.
Well, so when I listen to this, Dr. Bass, it's almost like duh, why don't we see more and more of this across the board, and not even just in pediatrics, but in adult care as well. I love this program. I think the work that you're doing is so critical, and I know it's having a profound impact on the families, but also on the patient outcomes. So that's hurrah to you. Great job with your program, and Dr. Bass, thank you for coming on the show today. You're listening to Transformational Pediatrics with Children's Mercy Kansas City. For more information, you go to childrensmercy.org. That's childrensmercy.org. I'm Dr. Mike Smith. Thanks for listening.